Hare Krishna. Can you hear me at the back? All right, good. Thank you and welcome for sparing your weekend to come here and listen to Krishna Katha. And we are going to continue reading from the book. What's the name of the book? Hmm? What's the name of the book? Yeah, A Pathway to Inner Peace. That's the exact name. Because we are focusing on scrutinized reading. So we need to scrutinizingly read, right? The fine print also in the book, right? Who has written this book? Do we know who has written the book? Shraddha Mataji has written? Vaisheshika Maharaj, thank you. Okay, where did we leave last time?
I think it was 16.
Page 16? Were we at page 16?
Yeah, I remember the class photo. But then, no, we went past 16.
We were past 16, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had actually mentioned a little bit from the ahead pages as well, but we should be on page 21 of the book. Anybody from the last time who did not get a chance to read? Everybody got a chance to read? You forgot your glasses? You should keep your glasses here. Keep a set in Devi's room. Okay, Sumit is coming. Right.
Which paragraph?
Yeah. So what I was saying was that anybody who didn't get a chance to read up until now for the 4 sessions that we had, you can take your chances reading. We will be reading 1 paragraph each, and we'll continue reading till I tell you to stop today, right? I won't go paragraph by paragraph because some of the things, as you read the paragraphs, you'll notice that I've already covered those in my previous, so it'll be kind of like a recap for you. Okay? Ritvik, go ahead. Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.9 tells us of an incident in which a renowned teacher, Sutta, appreciates the questions of his audience. A group of sages who have gathered to ask him about the purpose of life. The sages ask, "Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have associated to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general." Sutta replies, "O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Krishna, and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of satisfying the self." 1.2.5.
Good. Give it to the next one, please.
I use the seemingly contradictory phrase, question are the answers, to draw attention to the sheer magic of question. The principle is simple and is thus one of the most overlooked miracles of the world. When you ask the right question with the right attitude, you can learn the answers to all of life's secrets. When we sincerely ask relevant questions to qualified people, we can be sure that we will get the answers we seek. Even before we know whom to ask, by merely formulating our questions, we have begun the process.
Those who think they already have all of the answers can now sincerely inquire, and therefore all will not receive solutions that will help them to progress. A colleague of mine likes to say, there are four little words that that block one's ability to learn. I already know that, but to those who are those willing to ask questions are open-minded enough to hear the answers. The truth behind the words mysteries is at hand. Start your spiritual quest by asking questions. The word question comes from quest, to search for something. Dating back to the medieval sense of romantic adventure, especially undertaken by a knight in search of the Holy Grail, and query from the Latin query. To ask is combined with add for emphasis to form, acquire. So the knowledge we acquire comes from our queries, our questions.
We're reading from page 22. Second paragraph.
When you ask a question, you embark on a journey. The Buddha started his journey with a question. One day he left his father's protective care and ventured outside the royal palace. There he saw sick people, old people, and people in fear and anxiety. He asked, "What is the cause of this misery?" Now that's a big question. And it was the bridge over which he crossed from worldly life to a life of contemplation and enlightenment.
The most important journey in your life begins when you dare to ask big questions. But I'm no Buddha, you might protest. But how can I be compared to him? All of us, uh, all of us are but one question away from embarking on a path to enlightenment. It doesn't require formal education. You are born fully equipped to penetrate the mysteries of the universe, but you must inquire.
Ask big. The opening statement of the Vedanta Sutras is Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now that you're a human, inquire about the ultimate truth. Ask, what is the purpose of life?
Animals also ask questions, but mostly they just need to know how to survive, how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. The yoga texts say that humans also need to ask survival questions, but to be happy, they must also ask bigger ones.
Social scientist Abraham Maslow conceived of a hierarchy of needs in which he points out that to be happy, humans must strive to fulfill needs, self-realization, for example, that are above our needs for survival and comforts. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that happy human is one who learns to control anger and lust. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.10 states, be healthy, be balanced, but do so in a way that you can vigorously inquire about the purpose of your life. In short, eat to live, don't live to eat.
The statement Athato Brahma Jignasa says to all humans, now is your chance to ask the big important questions, one that go beyond the survival or comfort of your body. These questions can also remind us that these physical bodies in which we reside are temporary. Why work just to eat? The Vedas ask. With just enough work, we can obtain our physical necessities. Due to artificial standards of living and political strife, humans can easily forget or be deprived of foodstuffs that are abundantly available from the earth. The squirrels in my backyard here in California certainly work to get their necessities, but their needs are met plentifully in every season. In winter, they get a free new coat and permissions to eat. In spring and summer, they choose among various fruits and nuts. In autumn, they reap the harvest and stash nuts for the oncoming winter.
What about spiders?
They literally hang out in webs, which they know how to build without instruction, and their food, bugs, are plentifully available. In undisturbed habitats, elephants find tons of foliage they need to fill their bellies each day. Srimad Bhagavatam prompts us use your human energy to pursue self realization.
The yoga texts advise become a master asker. Ask penetrating spiritual questions. Where do I come from? What is the ultimate purpose of life? Where am I going after death? The Bhagavatam tells us that as humans, our prime duty is to ask questions which lead us to spiritual discovery.
The four questions will lead you to the solutions to life's fundamental problems and take you by the hand onto the path of the enlightened.
Metaphysical question, why?
The metaphysical question, why, armed with the questions who, what, when, and where, we explore and navigate the world. Then there is the standout metaphysical question, why, which can take us beyond the world of matter. Why? Questions take us into the realm of purpose, motive, and free will, which are beyond the elements and mechanics of the physical world.
Bye.
Some people doubt the need for asking why because they feel that we should accept as reality only those things that we can perceive with our five material senses. Therefore, they say the search for our spiritual selves or our relationship with the Supreme is futile. For example, the late particle physicist Victor Stenger, in his 2007 book God, the Failed Hypothesis, subtitled How Science Shows That God Does Not Exist, dismisses the idea of a cosmic purpose or the need for a supreme entity. Stenger, another atheist, warned that belief in a transcendent reality is blind faith because such a reality is not perceivable by our present senses.
Nonetheless, humans have always asked why. We naturally hanker to understand the purpose of our lives. Is it not then reasonable to question where this natural human yearning comes from? When we feel thirsty, we naturally search for water. An urge indicates that an element to fulfill that urge must exist, because one cannot exist without the other. The wisdom literature say that our natural urge for meaning, for understanding the purpose of life, similarly indicates that a metaphysical dimension must exist. Such exploration is therefore not futile but reasonable.
Doubt is one of the important functions of the intelligence, right, Srila Prabhupada? Blind acceptance of something does not give evidence of intelligence. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.26.30 purport. Doubt then is meant to bring us to a single pointed focus on what is most valuable in life.
Blind doubt. The bumper sticker, Question Authority, also warns about blind faith and suggests that we not accept authority until we examine it. The evil twin of blind faith, however, is blind doubt. Those who blindly doubt are also faulty. They rule out things that seem unlikely because the subject is beyond their perceptual horizon. A boy looks at the horizon and declares it to be the world's edge. The boy's father explains that beyond the horizon are other continents not perceivable by the naked eye, but the boy doubles down on his opinion.
The yoga teaches us not to double down on our doubts after we receive plausible explanation. As the bumper sticker question authority, also suggest when we viewed from a different angle, we should question authority, but with the intention to learn. That is, we should ask questions of those qualified to provide us with reliable answers.
As Srila Prabhupada writes, doubting is not very favorable when information is received from the proper source. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.26.30 purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that doubting the words of a well-vetted authority is not productive. Those who overcome both blind faith and blind doubt are then able to open-heartedly hear reasonable explanations about the secrets that lie beyond the purview of our limited senses.
The infinite can reveal itself to us. Why should we remain open-minded? Logically, that which is infinite has the power to reveal itself to the finite. If you say that it cannot, then you have limited the infinite, which is contradictory. Although it is not possible to understand the infinite by finite means, empirical science. If the infinite will to reveal itself to the finite, then it can be understood.
Reverse order. Reverse order. Is everybody done? Everybody got a chance? Okay. Okay, I think we stopped at a good enough point. Okay. So before we get started into the discussion, I'll just do a brief prayer to the special master. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're going to go and delve a little bit deeper, and we'll have it as an interactive session here. Please feel free to participate, share your thoughts, your questions. Hare Krishna Shri Prabhu. Could I have a glass of water? And so as we get before I forget, I also wanted to mention that that today, if I am able to read and go into the depths of the literature here, it is thanks to the thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, are we settled down? Can we continue? All right. So I just wanted to let you know that our gratitude first and foremost goes to Srila Prabhupada, who translated our literature into English language so that we could all understand. And of course, I'm very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for showing me the path, and also grateful to my spiritual master, who always encourages me, His Grace Vaisheshika Das, who has also written this book, by the way, and who has always encouraged me to pursue the spiritual path, come what may. And also to Shivas Pandit Prabhu, my Siksha Guru, who taught me how to read these books in a scrutinizing manner. And which is very, very important, because there is so much of information buried inside these texts that if we miss it, then we just miss that, right? And last but not the least, I'd also like to thank Devi Kumari Mataji, our hostess here today, and of course, Ashish Prabhu in absentia, for opening their home and their hearts. And they started this chain of lectures, I think more than a year and a half now. We have been meeting regularly either here or in different people's places. So if you want to host this in your home, please contact her. She'll be willing to give that opportunity to you. So let's go back to page 21 of the book. And it starts about 1.1.9. Srimad Bhagavatam tells of an incident in which a renowned teacher, Sutta, appreciates the questions of his audience. And I've been talking in the previous many sessions over here about the importance of importance of asking questions and the importance of asking the right questions, right? So questions should not just be limited to aaj khane mein kya hai aur kaun si movie achhi chal rahi hai, like that, right? So when the teacher is appreciating, so this verse is saying that the teacher was appreciating the questions that were asked. So what was the question that was asked? We covered that in the previous sessions, but just as a quick recap, the question that they asked was that what is it that is for the ultimate good for mankind? It was such a deep question that they asked, right? And it was a question that was not just directed towards themselves, that how can I benefit from something? It was for the general good. So when a person asks a question like that, then the teacher obviously is very pleased. And that's why this particular paragraph is saying that, he's bringing up that incidents and the importance of asking the right question. And then one of the things that also is mentioned there in the subsequent text over here is that it was a relevant question. The teacher said it's a very relevant question that you have asked. And in the text, it also says that you should ask the relevant question to the qualified people. So just don't go and ask your question to an unqualified person, because you will end up getting the wrong answer, or you end up getting very confused about that, right? And also one of the things that was highlighted towards the end of that page number 21 was that the author is saying that he has a friend who says there are 4 words that block receiving any information. What are those 4 words that you read? I already know that. I already know that. She does scrutinizingly reading. Very good, Parul. Right? So I already know that. And that's what happens sometimes we go to a class. And it can happen, like, especially when you have read the entire Bhagavad Gita, you already know it back to back, sloka to sloka, word by word, everything. And you're just somehow you end up and a teacher is teaching 1.1 of Bhagavad Gita and then 1.2 and then 1.3. And at the back of your mind, you're just saying, I know that, I already know that, I already know that. So when you are doing that, I already know that, you are rejecting that opportunity that has come to listen to a purport on Bhagavad Gita from a different person. And sometimes, when we are looking for questions and we ask questions of Krishna, the Krishna, I'm here, stuck in this thing, give me an answer, and Krishna doesn't give an answer. He doesn't talk to us directly, right? But sometimes he talks to you through these lectures and these sessions. And so we have to be open to listening and, so open our ears. And that's why we have 2 of them, right? Like that. Then there was a mention, I think on the next page, if you can all go to the next page, there was a question about, it was saying, it was about the word question itself, right? This book is about question, right? The book is called 4 Questions Asked. So there will be a lot of things that we'll be asking about questions, and it is very important to ask a question. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. You have got this human body so that you can ask questions, an appropriate question, and put them to the appropriate person, right? So the word question comes from what? From quest. And what does quest mean? Do you have a book?
No, I
You have
haven't.
You have it there? No. It should be close to you. Page 22. So the word quest comes from, the question comes from quest. And what's the meaning of quest? You are searching something, right? Yeah.
Journey of learning.
It's a journey of learning. Very good, right? And then it also dates back, and then was another aspect that was brought in, that it dates back to the medieval sense of romantic adventure. Wow. So what's a romantic adventure? Anybody had romantic adventure?
Yeah, same thing. It's like an unknown journey in search for
Exactly. So romantic adventures there will be an element of adventure in it, right? There will be thrill, there could be a fight, there will be fear and all that, but there will be a romance involved in that as well. So I can't see, so I better move. So if we go back at history, into Indian history, I'll tell you of a romantic adventure that we all read in the history, in our history books. And then you might remember that, right? Or maybe not, depends on what curriculum you were following. Okay. So I'm hearing a little din in the room, which is disturbing me. It cuts my thoughts, right? So this is a story of a king who was ruling from Ajmer to Delhi, the northern part of India, right? He was a Rajput king, and his name was Prithviraj Chauhan. And then there was a king in Kannauj, which is a place close to Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. And Prithviraj Chauhan and this king Jaichand, they were loggerheads. They were not on good terms. And Prithviraj was a very valiant warrior, a very valiant king. And there was a painter who made his painting. And Prithviraj was also very good looking. That's what they say. And so what this painter did was he took his painting and showed it to the daughter of Jaichand. Her name was Samyukta. And Samyukta just saw that, and she had heard about the goodness of Prithviraj Chauhan, and she fell in love. And then they started exchanging letters, and ultimately they wanted to marry. Now, when the father came to know about it, the father was furious, right? So you can see now the adventure is coming into it. The father was furious, and then what he said was, then in those days there was this, and for those who are not from Indian culture, I mean, I'm just going to explain a little bit more on that. That there would be an event that the father would organize, the king would organize. Usually it happened at that level, where he would, if he had a daughter that was of a marriageable age, he would invite all the suitable princes. And this girl had the choice, the princess had the choice to go and choose any one of them. And how did she indicate that she chose one of them? She would have a garland in her hand and she would put the garland on his neck. So then they would get married. So what the father did was he invited all the princes and all the kings from neighborhood areas, but he did not invite Prithviraj on purpose because, he didn't want him as a son-in-law. And then to make matters worse, what he did was he got a statue made of Prithviraj and put it right outside the door as if he was a doorman, like that. So when Prithviraj came to know about this, obviously they had their own network at that time. And so what he did was he came and he hid behind his statue. So when the ceremony started, Samyukta came and she had the garland in her hand and she went from one king to king to king to prince to prince to prince, rejecting all of them, right? She just went there. And then she went out of the door, and where the statue of Prithviraj was, she put her garland over there. And then Prithviraj springs from behind it, carries Samyukta in his arms, puts her in the horse, and carries her away. Like that. And of course, he had come with his army, so there was fighting and all that. So that is a romantic adventure, right? So now our literature is full of romantic adventures, and our Krishna is at the foremost. And there's a story of Rukmini, right? Rukmini. So Rukmini was getting married to whom? Shishupal, right? Right? His brother liked Shishupal. They were very friendly, so they wanted to get married. But Rukmini had heard about Krishna. So you can imagine how powerful sound is, very powerful. And just by hearing about somebody, you can, fall in love with that. And she wanted, of course, if it's the personality of Godhead more so. And so she wanted to marry him. And when she came to know that the brother and the parent father had arranged for her wedding to be done with Shishupal, she was like, oh my goodness. So what she did was she called one of her confidants and she wrote a letter to Krishna and said that, Krishna, I'm in, this situation. Please help me. And so she sends that thing off. And when Krishna reads that, this was one of the things that was prevalent in that culture at that time, that a lady could reach out to a man for help and a man could come and take her like that, take her away. And so when Krishna hears about that, Krishna prepares to come to this particular place. And then he comes, and when he comes, he's a well-known person. He comes with Balram as well. And so the king, comes and welcomes, and king has no clue what Krishna has come to do. And so, as was the custom of those days, that the princess would go and worship one of the goddesses in the morning. So she goes to worship the goddess and she's thinking, oh, today is the last day. I'm going to get married today. And I don't see any sign of Krishna. And those were not the days that Krishna could text her and say that, hey, I'm coming. She had to wait. And then, of course, as all adventures happen, at the nick of the moment, the person arrives and says, oh, yeah, Krishna is coming. So she goes there to do the prayers before the marriage ceremony begins. And since still there's no signs of Krishna. So she's very crestfallen. And as she's about to go out of the temple, she sees that Krishna is there. And then, of course, Krishna carries her away, right? So we have romantic adventures. And of course, there is fight and all that. But Krishna finally marries Rukmani and, used to live with her in Dwarka. So there are instances of romantic adventures. And the climax of all those adventures, romantic adventures, are the adventures that gopis used to have, right? Right? So you hear in the Gopi Geet, Pati Sutanyaya Bhartin Bandhavan. So he says they were married. Some of the gopis were married. So they used to leave their husbands, or if they were not married, they were under the protection of their brothers. They used to leave their brothers and go. And what were they doing? Because Krishna blew his flute in the middle of the night on the Purnimasi, Sharat Purnima. And that's it. They left their homes and went to Krishna. So how difficult it is. I mean, that is a real adventure. Because if you're a married woman and you're going out in the night to dance with somebody else, you can imagine what's going to happen, what the society is going to do, right? So if we are here, the book talks about romantic adventure, and some of us I know do the romantic adventure as well, because we are all in love with Krishna, which is a good thing, right? And there are ladies, and Prabhupada also says that just as a lady who's having an extramarital affair, a wife who's having an extramarital affair, will do her work very nicely so that nobody has any suspicions on her. And then she will go and meet her farmer. So similarly, we see that in a lot of the devotees who don't have supportive family. So they will do that. A lot of Madhujis do that in the Saturday morning. Everything is spick and span. Honey, I have cooked the food for you. Your breakfast is ready. Your lunch is in the oven. And then they come to the temple like that. So that itself is an adventure. So when we are talking about romantic adventure over here, our romance should be with Krishna only, and let's be an adventure. It is an adventure to get at 3 o'clock in the night, drive the car all alone because you want to dress the deities. It's an adventure. It's not an easy thing. So devotees also do a lot of adventures. I just wanted to let you know that all of us have a Priti Chauhan in us, and all of us have a Samyukta also in us. And so when you get into devotional service, there will be thrills that will come in your way. Like the thrill in book distribution. I remember going once with Malini Matichi to a gated community, and I was like, I was naive, and I was like, Mali, how will we even go there? And both of us were in the car, and she said, let's wait. And as soon as the gated community, somebody else came in, the door opened, and she followed and entered inside. So there is thrill. There is thrill in every devotional activity that you do. So this word just caught my attention, so I wanted to bring that. And then in that same quest that they were talking about the adventures, etc., there's a word Holy Grail that is used, right? Did you notice that? What is the Holy Grail? What is the Holy Grail? You should ask that question, right? So as part of the scrutinizing reading, whenever you come across such a thing like that, don't just skip over it, stop and go to ChatGPT. She's going to tell you, what Holy Grail is. So there are two aspects of multiple meanings to the word Holy Grail that are used. One is from the Christian religion, which is the cup of, the cup that was, or the bowl that was used by Jesus Christ to drink the soup in his Last Supper. That is called the Holy Grail, right? Of course, there are other meanings also for the Holy Grail. In one of the stories, a Holy Grail is also mentioned as something, maybe a stone kind of a thing, or a magical potion or something like that, that will give you money, that will remove old age, kind of like our Chintamani that we talk about, in our thing. So that's also a Holy Grail. So people go in the quest of Holy Grail. Sometimes the Holy
Like a jackpot.
well, yeah, sort of a jackpot, yes. Sometimes a holy grail is also something that is absolutely unachievable or very difficult to achieve. And if you achieve it, you will say, this will be my holy grail. For example, you're launching a product and you're selling it in, America, you're selling it in Europe and all the Western countries, and you say, oh, if I'm able to sell it in China, if I'm able to sell it in Korea, that will be my holy grail, right? Because it's something very difficult to achieve, and if I achieve it, it's as if I don't know what I have found, like that, right? So that is what the holy grail over there also means. Then, continuing on in that same paragraph, in the next paragraph, he's saying that when you ask a question, you embark on a journey. What do you think about that? I want to have some reflections from you. When you ask a question, you embark on a journey.
As you think about
You have to use your microphone because we are broadcasting this on Facebook. They won't be able to hear you.
because you think about it and you are involved in it. That's why you have the question.
So you have the question, and because you had the thought, you had the question. So you ask the question, but where will the movement go? And I'm just thinking the movement will be from being from a state where you did not know the answer to movement to the state where you know the answer, right? That's the journey that is being started. You have answered, Ritvik? Go ahead.
This relates to many real world scenarios, like Newton's laws wouldn't have been made without a question. Like, why did the apple fall on my head? What force brought the apple on my head?
Exactly. Thank you very much, right? And so your journey will begin with asking the question, and a right journey in the right direction will happen when you ask the question to, Parul said, right person, right? When you ask the question to the right person, that's why your journey will head in the right direction. And when the question will be answered, there will be more questions, right? Srimad Bhagavatam is all about that. It started with one question or two questions, right? What is the duty of a man about to die? And what is the duty of a man when he's living? The two questions led to 18,000 verses.
Question, what is the
Very nice.
person?
Go ahead.
The question is, what is who is the right person? How
Ve-
do you know?
Very good, very good. How do you think would be a right person to ask that question? Any thoughts on that? You want to share? Yeah, go ahead.
Someone who seems interested, someone that would inquire about the question, they would hint towards it and show some profanity towards the question, which would hint towards you, showing that they have a little bit or somewhat of interest in the question.
Okay, so they should have an interest in answering the question. Shiva, what else?
I say trust. I mean, trustworthy person or somebody who you think that I can speak loudly.
This doesn't catch. This has got poor hearing.
Yeah. I said, like, the someone, I mean, you ask the question to someone who you trust, number one, that whatever answer you're gonna get,
Right.
that will be like, you can trust that.
Right.
And another one is whether the person is like knowledgeable to answer your question or not. That's the thing. But like, asking the right question, but the right intent has to be in your heart also. So that is the thing, like, I think last time also.
We had mentioned that, yeah.
Sometimes like I'm just questioning you.
It's always with a good intent. So yeah, so that is there. Now comes the question, and you brought in a very valid point there, which was you will ask a question to somebody you trust. Now, how do I know whom to trust? There's so many people. Sumit in the back, microphone. Who can take the microphone in the back in 10 seconds or less?
Basically, the person who comes from the lineage of the
Very nice.
gurus or something.
Very nice, right? Very nice. So you should know, for example, when you go to the doctor's office, the question that you're asking the doctor is, what is it that I have? Why does my stomach hurt? Or why can I not see? Whatever it is, right? So then you go to the doctor with the question. And what do you see on the walls of the doctor's office? Certificate, exactly, for 500 points. Certificates. Because he has studied in John Hopkins or whatever the good medical schools are here. So you have to know that a person who's going to answer this question, from where is that person learning all that? And then so he learned from this guru. Okay. But from where did that guru learn? So that way you have to walk up the hierarchy of how the knowledge was descending. And that's what Sumit was mentioning, that it has to come through a lineage. That is called a lineage, a line of teachers where the knowledge just descends. Now, especially on spiritual topic, I mean, if it was, why did the apple fall down, right? Then it can be answered majorly with anybody with physics knowledge, things like that, right? But when it comes to spiritual knowledge, we had talked about that there are 4 defects that we have, right? The human body, the material body has got 4 defects. What were the 4 defects of our senses? One defect was, go ahead.
We see something,
The illusion, right? Good.
Imperfect senses.
Imperfect senses, correct. 2,
Jealousy.
jealousy for the senses.
What we touch is something different, like measurement of temperature.
Imperfect senses, yeah, that's imperfect senses.
Cheating.
Cheating tendency, yeah. You ask me a question, I don't know an answer, I will give you a roundabout answer because I don't want to accept. Right, cheating tendency. And the 4th one, we do that all the time. We make mistakes. Right? So those are 4 things that we make mistakes. So now if you were to go and ask me the question, Shraddha Mataji, tell me, how does Krishna look like? And now Shraddha Mataji has got imperfect senses, which means that she might have read about Krishna, how Krishna looks like, but she could have read it wrong because her senses are imperfect. Okay, so that's one. She can be illusion. Something could be written here and she reads it something differently. So wrong interpretation, wrong reading in the first place, making errors, etc. And the worst thing is that if I don't know who Krishna is and I'm sitting here, then I will bluff you and I will give you some answer. So should you really rely on an answer coming from such a person who's got these 4 defects? The answer is no, you should not, right? So that's why whenever you're looking at a lineage, right? Whenever you're looking at it, like if you meet somebody in the road and who's going to tell you that, this is the best thing you should do and whatever on the spiritual realm, you should ask from where have you got that, right? And then from where do your teacher, what is the lineage? They should be able to learn, give you the name of the lineage. The lineage should be well versed in the shastras that are there. The lineage should have written commentaries on the Shastras, right? So that would be the way where you will say, okay, fine, now I have done math. I can now trust and I can now answer the question. In the last time, we had also mentioned that that is also not enough because this is Kali Yuga. It's a completely messed up times that we are living in. So what we also do is we triangulate. Remember, I talked about triangulating that or maybe I didn't say this here, I said it in some other class. Guru, Shadhu, and Shastra. Okay. So now I come here and I tell you something. And you say, okay, oh, Shraddha Mataji told me this. Now you go back and you should find out whether some Shastras are also saying or ask her, right? No, you're saying that. Can you tell which Shastra is telling you that? So Shastra, you should also make sure that whatever the Guru is saying is also what the Shastra says. And then Shastras can also be modified. A wrong Shastra could be presented to you. As a student, you might not know how many Shastras are there, right? Do we know? How many Puranas are there? 100 to 18, right? See, so we don't know, and it's okay, it's Kali Yuga. So we should also go and look at what others are saying. So Guru Sadhu, so Sadhu is what? The word Sadhu comes from the word Sadhak. One who's practicing devotional service is a Sadhu. So it also comes from, the same information should also come from the Sadhu also. So once you have, triangulated that, then you can go and ask the Guru the question. Like that, right? So asking the right questions, you have to ask the questions, you have to ask the questions to the right person also, right? Otherwise you will just get the wrong answer there. Good question. And then also when you have a question, get into the habit of also thinking, and they like it a lot at work as well, is that something has been said and try to think tangentially or on something related to that, but a little bit more wider. For example, Newton was sitting under the tree and he saw an apple. So he said, why did the apple fall down? Okay, and then we know the whole thing. But then also you ask the question that is the moon also going to fall? You see what I mean? Right? So increase the breadth of your questions and the area that your questions are covering. Otherwise, you'll be very, very narrow like that, right? The one way that I was saying of increasing your breadth was Guru, Shadhu, and Shastra, right? He says that. Does he say that? Does he say that, right? So you're increasing your breadth. And so the chances of failure and chances of being misled is wrong. Otherwise, we also said that one of the characteristics of Kali Yuga is that we are misguided. All of us are misguided. There's so many pseudo gurus there, right? So when you're particularly listening to word discussions and topics on transcendental items and Krishna, God, divinity, and all that, and if you're listening from any lineage, right? There are so many lineages which are there. lineage is just a set of guru and disciples. You have to make sure that the first on the top of the lineage should be God. It should be somebody who is beyond these modes of material nature, because that one will not have these four defects that we have. So the knowledge that that person is going to impart will be true knowledge. Now, those who are coming in the lineage below them, there has to be a rule. They should not add their own interpretations to that. They should not say, I think so, because the moment you start thinking, you're going to bring in your defects into the analysis of it, right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita that we saw last time is Bhagavad Gita as it is. As it is basically means that no human interpretations like that. And you'll see even in the books that Srila Prabhupada translates, and he writes very rich purports there. And whenever he's writing anything, he never says like, in my opinion, because my opinions can be, colored, right? So he's always, yes, biased, very correct. So he is always referring to Shastras. Right? He's teaching Bhagavad Gita. I was reading Bhagavad Gita, in the purpose also he's referring to Bhagavatam. And I was like, why does he do that? Now I understood later on that he's not going to say anything from his own. He's always going to rely to Shastras, because Shastras come from Krishna, right? And they will not have those defects there, right? Like that, sometimes we might not understand the Shastras completely, but then we have faith, and we'll be talking about faith momentarily because it does get picked up there, right? So, so that was there. I was just a couple of points. Yeah. Also, there was a mention of Buddha, right? That Buddha was a very good question asker. What did he ask? What was the question that Buddha asked?
Why are they suffering?
Why are we
Why is
suffering?
it
Did you ever ask that question?
Yeah.
I never asked.
Always.
You do. Yeah. Despite all the sufferings in my life, I never asked that question. Why are we suffering? Till Prabhupada opened my eyes. Right.
You got a Santi.
Right. But then over there, Vajrika Prabhu is also saying it doesn't require formal education to ask a question. You don't have, right? And the most uneducated are the ones who ask the most questions. The little children in the house, right? What is this? Why is this happening? Who is this? Where is this? Where cookie? When Papa coming? All these questions, right? And they're not even educated. They're asking questions, right? So similarly, but then there's a line at the end of that paragraph. It says, but you must inquire. That's very important for you to ask that question, right? And then it also says that ask big. Ask big is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you've got this human body, you should ask that question. Then a very interesting thing is that, it's not just something that is coming from our culture, which is of course very rich and to be proud of, but here there's also a mention of Abraham Maslow. So what is Maslow famous for? The hierarchy of needs. Can you tell us a little bit about the hierarchy of needs on the microphone? Ajit? Ajit Prabhu is my colleague we both used to work for LinkedIn. So I just invited him here.
Nice meeting all of you. Yeah. Maslow's hierarchy of need is a triangle which represents the grade of the needs which a human has, starting the basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter at the bottom. And then the next level of needs are protection, security. And the third is recognition and fame, sort of way. And the fourth is power. And the final stage is self-actualization.
Right.
This is how a human progresses from one need to another till they attain the final stage of self-actualization.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, such a nice description of the hierarchy there. So interesting thing is that so these are our needs, right? So food is there. If you don't get food, today's Ekadashi. Right? So food is not there. The stomach will constantly tell you it's a need. You will feel faint. You won't be able to work, right? So that's a need. Once you get the food, then I want clothes, and then I want better clothes, right? Then I want prestige, right? Then I want love, right? So you will get love. And then, okay, that's fine. My wife loves me. I have a very nice family. But what about the rest of the world? Then I want to become a VP of a company so that I'll get some respect, right? But after you get all that, then people ask the question, is this really what I wanted? That is self-actualization. And some people believe that. They will step down from a position of a VP, go up somewhere like that. So, and that is at the highest thing. And so what do you think is our highest need as spirit souls?
To be loved.
We want to be loved.
Happiness.
We want happiness.
Peace.
Say that again.
Peace.
Peace. Okay. We want peace.
And we want to just be yourself.
We want to be us ourselves. And what is it? What is that?
Eternal
I just want to be ourselves. When you say, what is, I want to be ourselves, what is that? Being ourselves means like, I'll get up, I won't do anything, I lie on the sofa and then, go through the channels.
Know your identity.
Yeah,
Who you
know
are.
yourself.
What is our identity?
Who defines that?
Yeah.
Who defines our identity?
Actually, we are
That's
done
what
this
we-
material.
We are
Then
done.
what is the next identity? What actually are
okay,
you?
so the question is, what after the material,
Yeah.
right? What after the material world? What after the material life?
Few who
Right?
am I?
What next? What next? Right? So these are very good questions that people should be asking, right? I mean, people ask a lot of questions. People ask a lot of questions, and actually, even the animals ask a lot of questions among each other. You see, early in the morning, the birds get up, and what are they doing? They're chirping. What exactly is chirping? They're having this conversation. Where should we go today? And like the mother is asking the kid, like, did you go to the bathroom? Right. So these are questions that they will be asking. So we think that these are what our needs are. I want peace, I want this, I want that, I want that. But your main need is to become a servant of Krishna. Because only by doing that, you'll get the rest of all the things that you said. You want peace, you'll get it from there. You want happiness, you'll get it from there, right? Like that. So that is the main aim, and that's the main goal that is there in our life, right? But Buddha, he asked that one question, and he got into completely a transcendental realm by doing that. And we can also. The sooner we ask that question, the better it's going to be. Absolutely right. And then look at so we spend our time in four activities. Prabhupada says eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and in order to defend our family, and we have to there are various kinds of defense mechanisms that you put. One defense is defense against the nature. So to defend against the nature, you build a house. Now to build a house, you need money, so you work, right? So there are various kinds of defensive layers or defensive shields that you can put on yourself. And and the best shield that you can put is the shield against Maya, right? Otherwise, Maya is going to suck you without you even knowing that you'll be there and gone out for 35 years, taking an exit from the fast lane of devotional service, and then 35 years later, you are trying to join again, right? So that's very, very important to keep that in mind. Then Prabhupada, as we continue on, Vaisheshika Prabhu also mentioned about a bumper sticker. What did the bumper sticker say on the card? Page 25. Bottom. Question authority. Right? Question authority. Mom says, okay, go empty the trash can. Why? Questioning authority. Right? There was a I was reading somewhere when I was young that what are the four letters or four syllables that a father likes? What are the four syllables father likes? It was in Hindi, and the answer was Ji Pitaji. Don't question me. Say yes to everything that I'm saying there, right? So then in this one, where he's talking about, so what does the author say there about questioning authority, where the child says that he looks at the horizon and says the world ends there. There's nothing beyond what I see, right? What does the author say about that, but that we should not do?
We should not doubt
Every single thing in exam.
Very nice, right? And also do not double down on your doubts. Double down on your, you know what is double down on your doubts means? See, the father said that the son was looking at the horizon. He doesn't see anything beyond the horizon, so he says the world ends there. The father is saying, no, your vision is like, short. There are things beyond that, but the child still says, no, I don't believe in you. And I'm firm on this, that there is nothing beyond that. That is doubling down, right? And so then he's also mentioning that the yoga teaching are saying something very nice. He's saying that do not double down after somebody has given you a very plausible answer to your question. We do that. And that is the ego.
I know better.
I know better, right? I know better, like that, right? But then also, if you look at it from the positive side aspect of question authority, he's saying also don't just blindly do question authority, but in a way that you want to learn. So you can question authority in a very defined way, because Krishna is all about authority later on when you surrender. Man manam mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Like, you worship me. That's it. He's authority. I am everything. I am the creator. Like that. So he's saying that you do that if you ever have to question, but do that. And that's why we have in Bhagavad Gita says that vidhi paripatena, pariprashnena sevaya, upadeshyanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So he says that if you have to inquire about the truth, you have to be submissive first. And that is why when we were talking in page 21 about the teacher appreciating the questions, right? Before that, what had happened was that these audience who are asking the questions of the teacher, they said that teacher, you're very knowledgeable. And they're saying, why is the teacher very knowledgeable? To the teacher, they're saying, because you were submissive. Because you were submissive to your teacher was pleased and gave you all the information that was to be given to you. And so now that you have all that information, please give us that information. So submissive, the attitude is everything. You know that, right? So you have to be cognizant of that. Now, something very interesting that said was this, they also said that usually people say that don't have blind faith, and which is true. Prabhupada also said to a certain extent on certain things that we have to be careful about having blind faith on anything. But another thing that Prabhupada also said was also don't have a blind doubt. Isn't that interesting? What do you think about blind doubt?
Yeah, I mean, whatever somebody says, you just say like he has some vested interest. I am not gonna trust this guy. Whatever he say, I'm not gonna listen to.
Right. So although it is not bad to doubt, doubting is actually a function from which part, which sense organ doubts? Huh? Go ahead, answer. Microphone. The mind. What do you think? What is a doubt? A doubt is a thought, right? And mind produces thoughts, right? But who plants that thought in the mind? Ego. Huh? Ignorance, distress.
Prior experience.
Question.
Intelligence, exactly. Doubting is a characteristic of intelligence. Right? So remember that. So intelligence will start doubting, and it is a good thing to doubt because you shouldn't take everything like that, but also just don't take everything blind, like blind doubt also. I don't think that there is God. And that is what he was mentioning somewhere in some author who said that, there cannot be a creator and all that kind of thing. So just don't do that. Just don't do that. Chill. If something has come there, keep it on the back burner. Krishna will reveal it to you subsequently in the right time, in the right phase of time. Okay, so then a very interesting, but now do people have access to internet here?
Yes.
Okay, can you go to vedabase.com, open Bhagavad Gita from there?
Vedabase.
Vedabase.com, Vedabase.com. Vedabase.com, open Bhagavad Gita and open chapter 4. And whoever opens it first, chapter 4. Go to verse number 40. You got it? Okay. You all got it? Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text number 40. Okay. Shamlangi, do you want to read the translation for that since you were the first to get it? On the microphone, please. Can somebody hand her a microphone?
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is, it's not easy.
Is it on? Yeah. Is it on? Is it?
Sorry, I didn't do anything. Sorry, I'll read it again.
All right.
Okay, I'll repeat. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next.
Right. So this double down thing that he was talking about, just don't doubt. And he's talking about, Krishna is talking about scriptures, revealed scriptures. Revealed scriptures means somebody has revealed them. So who reveals the scriptures to us? And who revealed it to the Guru? So who is the original source of revealing the scriptures? Sri Krishna, right? So they are revealed, they're coming from Krishna. And now here, because of our ego, that I'm something, I'm doubting that. They're saying if you do that, if you start doubting the scriptures, then you will have happiness neither in this world, and some of you had listed that it was one of the needs of the soul to have happiness. So you'll have happiness neither in this world nor in the other world, afterlife, right? Because you're doubting those basic things there. So then one more thing that I wanted to talk about here was we talk about the infinite can reveal itself to us. Now, it wasn't that a very interesting thing that he said that we are finite, and with my senses, I cannot know about the infinite because the very definition of infinity is that it is all encompassing. It includes everything. Or those of you who were doing mathematics, so there was a universal set, right? The universal set is infinity. And then you're saying, the infinite cannot reveal itself to me. But then your definition of infinite is wrong there, because infinite by definition means includes everything, which means also the capability to explain things to you. So that is also one of the things that we need to keep in our mind as we progress in our devotional service, is that you continue your devotional service, right? And then don't you chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You count like that, and then 16 down, 30 down, and you close your eye like, why is Krishna not appearing? Look down, why is he not in my heart? No, it's up to Krishna. It's not that I can say I have done this and this and this and this, so I qualify, right? I have passed this one, so I qualify. Like how you go for, if you want to get a loan for a house or something like that, they will check your, bank balance. They check if you're paying your bill properly. Check. There's no check like that. Of course, checks are there. I mean, they will put you there in the queue, but it's for the infinite to reveal himself. And that's why we have the verse that says, Athashi Krishna Namadi na bhaved graham indriye sevan mukho vijivyadao swam eva svaratyada. So what it says is, Athashi Krishna Nam Adi. So it says that Krishna's name and Krishna's Adi means other thing. His name, his roop, his pastimes, etc. Na bhaved grahyam indriye. From your material senses, you will not be able to know all these things about Krishna, right? But if you start sevonmukh, if you turn towards doing seva, right? And when I'm going to do the seva, you're asking me to do the seva. So my first question is, okay, tell me what seva do I do, right? Sevan mukho hi jivhadao. Adao means in the beginning or the first. So first seva that you have to do is from your jivha, from your tongue. So what's the seva that you can do with your tongue to Krishna? Chanting, is that all? Prasadam, tasting prasadam, nice.
They're saying good things,
Glorifying Krishna, teaching, all that, right? So if you start the seva mukho hi jivhado, if you start the seva in the beginning with your tongue, swam ev svaratyada, swam ev automatically, swam ev by itself, Krishna will manifest himself and reveal you. So all I don't go into this like, why is this not happening? I'm counting, why is it not happening? Am I looking spiritual? And what is my original Sarup? And I go back to Golok, how am I going to look? Am I a peacock there? Am I a hen? What am I? Don't go into all that. All that will be revealed to you automatically. The infinite will reveal to you, right? You just have to do your thing like that, right? Okay, so we are on the top of the hour, 8 minutes over actually. So I'll stop over here, take some questions or reflections that you have. Rahini, go ahead. And the kids were taking notes, right?
Yeah, all of them has.
All of them have something very nice, very nice.
Otherwise, they will not get the food today.
Otherwise, no food. That applies to adults as well. So did we note till what page number we went today?
25. No, 26.
26. Okay. Yeah. So that will be the question for the next session, which we're going to have in Parul's home, I think, right, Parul? No, not Parul. Sorry. Your home, right? Yeah. Sonal. Sorry. Last week we had at Parul's home. We can't. So 26 is what we said. Infinite can deceive. So. Who give क्या बच्चे क्या?
We get it. ये बच्चा गिरा तब तक रोने का आवाज है।
एक बार ऐसी आवाज आई तो दूसरे कमरे में हस्बैंड थे तो वाइफ ने इधर से पूछा क्या गिरा? उसने बोला पजामा गिरा। पजामे क्या हुआ? इतना आवाज आई, बोला पजामे में मैं था। पता करो कौन था पजामे में। Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Close and loudly. Yeah, you can realize your question, but loudly and slowly.
Okay. I have a question. On like page 21, like, are you the colleague who like Visheshka referred to? Like,
I didn't get your question.
oh,
Are you the colleague?
in page 21, he like refers that he has this colleague that he got.
The name of the colleague? No, I don't know. I don't know the name of his colleague. Do you know, Shamlaki, do you remember he never mentioned that? Actually, I was very surprised because he used to use those words a lot in his sections. When I read this book and I saw him attributing that to his colleague, I was like, yeah, oh wow, he took it from somebody.
He mentioned this.
He mentions this all the time. Yeah, he mentions this and I know that, I already know that, like that. Devamrit Swami Maharaj, very good, yeah. Now what will we do? A sadhu is telling us, what will we do now? Sadhu is telling, Shastra is telling. Now we also have to go back with the Guru. Go and ask him tomorrow, like that. Come a little closer, yeah, to the
What
mic.
happened? Like it says that like question, like if you have questions instead of one, what if like someone asks like a lot of questions, like too many questions?
It depends on the situation and the circumstance where they're asking that question, right? For example, in this class, if you start asking all the questions, I could stop and say, let's give a chance to others as well. Okay. It could also be somebody's questions are very relevant, right? And I hate to stop, but then I can always say that, Raini, we have nursing home prayers that are coming up at 6:15. So we need to do that, but never stunt anybody's questioning series, right? Always give them an option. Can I get back to you later on that? Can we have another meeting where we can discuss that? But never stunt. But a good question. Okay, whose turn?
One question or reflection?
No dessert.
No screen.
Oh, no screen? Okay. In my time, it used to be dessert.
Yeah, anything you like. Anything you like.
You were reading twice today.
Yeah.
The family quota.
The part where they talked about one of the questions, like in the book I read about one of the stories, and it said about a person who had a bad morning, but then when they gave some glasses, he finally understood why.
Ah, yes, service-oriented classes, that story. Nice, very nice. Good, good. Service. Service is important.
I'm gonna reread this paragraph and then say my realization. It's on page 24. What about spiders? They literally hang out in webs, which they know how to build without instruction, and their food, bugs, are plentiful available. In undisturbed habitats, elephants find the tons of foliage they need to fill their bellies each day. Srimad Bhagavatam prompts us, use your human energy to pursue self-realization. If spiders and elephants can find necessities for life, what about us? We don't need all of these materialistic desires. We probably have our own thing to do. And this can be proven from the innovations humans have made without instructions, from pure creativity. So that means Vaisheshika Maharaj is hinting towards us to go to a higher spiritual energy and to make a higher spiritual domain or something.
Very nice. Very nice, coming from the mouth of Bhakta Ritvik. Very nice, very good realization, right? And that's what he's emphasizing, that we all, and it comes from faith in Krishna. It comes in faith now that Krishna will provide. Krishna will provide. And that faith comes with a lot of practice. It's not easy. The Krishna will too. When things are all nice, when life is going, everything is nice in life, then it's very nice, very easy to say Krishna provides because Krishna is providing. But when life goes through the doldrums, at that time to maintain that and say, okay, Krishna will provide, that's the tough part, and that requires practice and being around people who are doing that kind of thing. Imagine Srila Prabhupada, he came to USA with $1 in his pocket by way of cash.
I think it was around $7 at that.
Yes. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it was so difficult. But what else did he bring? Right. 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 He had that faith. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. That is the faith they have. Okay? And we see a lot of time in Christian preaching, you hear about that. When I was young, I was brought up in a convent school, and they would talk about, they'll give the story of a father and a child. The child is standing on a high wall, and the father says, jump. And the child jumps because he has faith in the father. So similarly, jump. But you have jumped high, Ritvik. Good. Who else is remaining? And then Shivansh. He's resting. Anything you like to Sadhu, or any questions you have, we cannot discuss. Do you have a reflection or a question? No?
You took into higher consideration.
Are you happy? Okay, who's next? We can take, if the kids are thinking, we can go to adults as well. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Sivan, you want to do?
Shivan?
Please?
No.
You have a question? You asked a lot of questions to me. Yeah, he's that guy, like who is like, when Raina was saying, he's that guy who keep asking questions. What's a Raini?
All right, Prem Nisha has a question. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for such a nice class. So I just have a reflection, no question. And while reading this book, I was just thinking that my mind is actually kind of dull and doesn't ask too many questions, and I'm satisfied with, the way life is going. But then I was appreciating all the, gurus in our parampara who have taken time to write these books and bring this knowledge to us, so that people like me at least now know what the purpose of life is. Otherwise, I was never going to ask this question and probably just go about my life without knowing what the real purpose of life was.
Exactly. Thank you for that. And and that is where is the question, why did the gurus do that? why do the gurus write those books? Because they are so magnanimous. They wrote it for us. And then the gratitude comes, right? Which is very important. Go ahead, Jimmy. Mike. Parul, you had something also? After Shiva? No, Shiva, go.
No, I'm just saying, like, you talk about that one thing, so this week also I stepped down from my upper position to, like, individual contributor. So I was just like thinking about that. So, and that gave me the peace that, what I need, instead of going,
Self-actualization.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I'd say, like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I go in more up or something, my life is gonna get more miserable.
Yes.
And how much is gonna quality of life is not
Right.
gonna improve. So
Right.
just go down, whatever you love, whatever your
Right.
passion, do that kind of a
Do
work.
that.
So
Thank you. Yeah, unhappy is the head that wears the crown.
that's
Uneasy is the head that
otherwise
wears the
there's
crown.
no limit of,
Rat race.
yes, red.
I read it somewhere. It was so interesting. I'll just repeat it here in the context because what you're saying, people are in the rat race to go up the corporate ladder. It says, so what if you win the rat race? After winning it, you are still a rat. So try to get out of that rat mentality and become a human being. Right? Get out of this eating, mating, sleeping, and defending the four things. That is four things that the animals also do. So the purpose of a human being is to rise your consciousness and go to the metaphysical. Don't stay in the physical, right? So that's a congratulations that you could make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through, like, not so, it's easier said than done,
Yes,
but like,
yeah.
it will.
You did it, yeah. You can congratulate yourself, yeah, on that. And the mind will always come back and say, next time some manager comes and says something you because you're an individual contributor, but the mind will come and say, oh yeah, let's go back there and then, talk to me.
It will be confronting.
Yeah, yes, confronting, but you have to just keep punching it back. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing. Parul.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, he said questions, quest comes from the intelligence.
Doubts.
Doubts, yeah, questions. And then ego also comes from the intelligence, mind. And sometimes it's like you have the questions, you don't have the answers, but you go with the intuitions. So, is it right to go with your intuitions? Like, where does the intuitions come from then? Is like the Supreme Lord is guiding you already on the right path?
It's a very good question because sometimes it's difficult to know, given the intuition, that is it really Krishna is telling me this? Is it really Krishna telling me this? Or what exactly is in my mind playing games on me? Like that, right? So whenever you come across a situation like this, for example, in the morning, Krishna can tell you, go to sleep, don't chant. How will you know? It's your mind telling you or whether it's Krishna telling you, right? You have to go back to the Shastras and refer to the Shastras, very likely Shastras don't say that, if you've gotten up, you go to sleep. And that is the reason you need devotee association and you need a guru in your life to guide you. So that there are places where you can go when you're in doubt. Otherwise, it could be the mind can present itself to you as if it's Krishna telling you. Like that, yeah. So it can be dangerous.
No, I was just adding that to intuition to, like, sometimes people have a experience and prior experience. So like when you were talking about teaching by, like, you have a mouth and you are teaching whatever you know, whatever you have achieved or whatever you are sharing with others. So same thing with like experience, you don't have to suffer all the experience by yourself. Listen to your guru, listen to other people.
Very good. Yeah.
And then you get a lot of knowledge by just listening. And like, one thing you said that, the Sri Krishna has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. There is a purpose for that body, like, see more, listen more, and speak less. Unless so, absorb a lot, then process it. Like, we are computer engineers, so we feed a lot of data and everything, and then we absorb it, and then we give some answer in couple of lines. But for those couple of lines, we have already have done, like, thousands of line of work. So that's why I was saying, like, so intuition and all that can come people with the experience, and experience comes with like more listening, more watching and all that.
Exactly. So that vetting process is not necessarily after the fact. it could be a continuous process, right? Where you're building your knowledge. Sumit is from NVIDIA. He can tell us how the artificial intelligence works and how his company is building chips so that it can work faster on a lot of data. And it's a humongous amount of data that they work on and which they're able to retrieve from their fast machines like that and give answer. Go ahead. Please pass the microphone to him.
Hi. So we were speaking about the hierarchy of realization, if I'm not wrong. Right. And we mentioned about the 5 steps, like first the most bottommost was shelter, food. And then as we go up, the highest point was where you self-realize as to what is the purpose in my life. What would you say to people who are still in that first level, people who are still struggling with food, people who are still struggling with, I mean, when you're at a certain level, I don't remember all the 5 levels, but if you're at the 4th level, it's easy to come down to the 3rd level. But when you're at the 1st level and you're still struggling at the 1st level, how do those people go to that level of self-realization? Because for them, their day-to-day food, their day-to-day shelter is the very question what they ask themselves every day. So they don't, that self-realization or that questioning the Lord, or asking questions, I mean, their questions to Lord is just about their own survival.
Food, yes, yes.
What would you say to such people? How do they reach that level of self-realization?
It's a process and it'll take its own time. And the time can vary from one person to another person. And you'll see that even in the temple. Or like, for example, you go out to do book distribution and you're distributing books to everybody without any discrimination. But then somebody takes your books and, within the next week, he's or she is at the temple and now they have started doing seva, they're washing the dishes. For some people, it's a meteoric rise, right? And for some people, for 40 years, 50 years, and then they won't do that. Everybody is on their own path. And actually, in Bhagavad Gita, the 3rd chapter, Krishna says that, when there are people who are not at that lower level of hierarchy, where all that they can do is food, right? All that they can do is food. To them, do not disturb. Krishna says, do not disturb them, let them go. But you just, with love, slowly engage them in some service to the Lord. It's some way it could be. I mean, maybe they are so poor, it's a rickshaw wala that you cannot, that won't be able to stop his work and then come and do dishes at the temple. You could arrange that, he could drive in the rickshaw some Mahatma or, some devotee. He will get the Agyat Sukriti. He'll get that Sukriti and from there he will rise to the occasion, right? So it's not necessary always to say something to them. You can also give them prasadam. Prasadam will have its own effect on them like that. Yeah. But good question.
Add on. If we come down to the karma yoga, right? So at that level, right, when somebody is kind of just has a bare basic food need, if they are kind of going to get the food need meet, that itself is a kind of they're self doing the sum of the service
Growth, yes.
as a karma yoga.
Yes, yeah.
That's right. Motherji, just I wanted to add to what Shikha was asking, like poor people, they can think over food and shelter. So one of my
Rich people also sometimes can't think beyond.
Yeah. So just like you said, it's person to person. So one person, one helper, when I was a kid, she was there as a helper at my house. She has stayed, and her name is Meera. Now she's married and she has 2 daughters. She is so much into spirituality and she chants. She has left onion, garlic, practicing everything what my mom is teaching her. And she keeps calling her, I want a guru. I want to go to Vrindavan. My heart doesn't belong here. मुझे किसी चीज में अच्छा मन नहीं लगता है. मुझे कृष्णा चाहिए. तो my mom says, हाँ गुरु होना जरूरी है. Now my mom doesn't have a guru herself, but she will guide again, whom you are asking question. So she said, Acha, then Deepika will come. And, I said, how can I take her to any guru? I don't know myself in Vrindavan. But still, I will talk to her, whatever it is. So again, it is person to person. And if we go in the history, lot of our saints, they were very poor. Like Surdas, he was blind, not even poor, he was blind. And maximum were like, they didn't have the food, shelter, they were totally surrendered to Krishna.
Who was it was talking to who said that having money creates more problems? Somebody was saying that. Is there a question here? I can. Okay. You have.
I feel it's more hard for people with money to give up. We want
Yes.
more, right?
Yes,
You
and that is why, yes, exactly. And I'll just continue on that thought that that's the reason we say don't aim for heavenly planets because they're full of opulence that you'll it's difficult to think about God. Everywhere it's a festival of senses there, sense gratification.
So one of the thing like five anarthas, attachment. Anything we get attached to it. And it's
yes.
so hard to,
yes.
even appreciation, it gives a boost to your ego and it's so hard. Next time you don't get it,
Right.
there will be a gap.
Yes.
So anything you get, it's attachment.
Yes.
none of us want to be normal people.
Yeah.
We all want to be extraordinary.
Pressure.
We want the progress, but still those attachments are so difficult to leave.
They are.
That basic things.
Yeah. We might philosophically think and speculate and think that because I'm doing such and such thing that I don't have any attachments. But when the time comes, you will realize that they are still there.
It's so hard.
Yes.
It's like Draupadi's sari.
Yes.
It's so hard. You're holding on to the attachment.
Yes.
You're not ready to give it. And
Yes.
then Krishna is just.
Right. Somebody had asked that question to Saraswati Devi that how does death feel like? How is that? Oh, what am I? Dot topic. So he said that how does it? So she said that it is as if 1 million scorpions are stinging you at the same time. So this is like such a horrible picture of death, right? And so why does it feel that bad? Why does it feel? So what happens is that the soul also is connected to your subtle body, in the mind, and then and the gross body. Those connections are there, and every attachment that you have has to be cut. Because when the soul has to leave the body and go, so when this cutting of the attachment causes that pain. So that is why if you're a devotee, advanced devotee, you have fewer attachments. And fewer attachments will come if you have fewer things. Right? If you don't have anything, then attachment is there. But you can still get attached to a kamandalu. It can happen, yeah. It can happen at any stage. So it padam padam yat vipadam na tesham. That's where Prahlad Maharaj says that it's a difficult place.
That's why association of devotees is very important.
Very, very important. Yeah, very, very important. And these things will come at the, like Vaisheshika Prabhu tells us example of a person who had a near-death experience, a devotee. And so he, at that time, when he had the feeling that he's going to leave his body, his whole life of Krishna consciousness was completely thrown, and he remembered a jingle from his teenage. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajyate kaleva. Right? Whatever you think at the time of your death. Luckily, he came back and then he narrated this story that, no matter how hard you're practicing, you have no idea. That is why we should also sift out these unnecessary vibrations that are there. We might just think that, okay, I'm very pure. I know I'm not attached to watching movies. I'm not attached to doing that. But the moment you start doing that it'll come back with a force. And at the time of your death, you will remember that instead of remembering Krishna. So we have to remain in a pristine condition also. Yeah, not get completely into that.
Sometimes while chanting Harishya Mataji, like you said, unconsciously, at the time of death, you will remember what you. Sometimes while chanting, I'm opening my mouth to eat something. When you are chanting, you are deep into towards the 16th round. That made me realize, oh my God, in my subconscious mind, I have. So then I'm really scared at the time of death. What I'm going to remember.
Right. Yeah.
What food actually?
Yeah, and that's why Srila Prabhupada says that. And that's a question that a lot of devotees ask me. And I have these classes every Friday, and almost every Friday somebody will ask me that, but what if I don't remember at the time of my death, right? And so in Ishopanishad verse number 17, Prabhupada explains that. He says, don't worry, right? You do your thing throughout your life. Do you think Krishna is so bad? He's such a loving person, right? So he will make you remember him. You don't worry about it at all. You just do your thing. Right?
Yeah.
But you're right. The subtle, there is so much in the subtle from millions of years of birth.
So there's a thing like, when you have death is near to you, the whole life reflects back to you. And
Yes.
that's because of Krishna.
Exactly.
He will just show you what you
Right,
and what
right,
you are, and you
right.
will get it like glimpse, just
Right.
like movie in a fast forward.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that also was explained by this person, the one who was listening to the jingle. He also said that it was not, his explanation was that it was not like a fast forward movie video going. He said it looked more like a collage,
Yeah.
different phases of life like that. But so also one of the godbrothers he mentioned was that he moved from America, lived in Vrindavan for so many years, dedicated, left this country, dedicated, living in the dham in Vrindavan. And then he was declared with cancer or something like that. So fine, and then he says, I want to go back to America. I want to go back to New York. And he was taking an auto or taxi or whatever to go to Delhi, and then somebody caught him and put him back. Again, he fled and he wanted to come to. So all the devotees had to literally hold him down in Vrindavan, and then in 7 days he left his body in Vrindavan. So these attachments, yes, they are terrible.
Finally, I have to go.
Thank you so much. Yeah. No prasadam for Shiva?
Okay. No, he's
He's passing
some party.
Oh, it's a party. Okay. Rahini was asking us.
But she's asking what is attachment.
She didn't say that.
Mataji, when we were talking about poor people and spirituality, is I mean, isn't it something you bring from your past birth also? At what level you left on the past birth? At what level of spirituality you left? So when you're born again, you get to start from the same level.
Yes.
Maybe because of your karmas, you are born in a poor family or have some difficult times, but your spirituality still carries on.
Yes, yes, that's a good thing. That's a good
That's a
part.
good part,
That's a
yeah,
good part.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes a person might choose to be in that state, knowing that having a very opulent life is going to bring in more responsibilities for me. I mean, the person who comes to your home and does the dishes, right? She can chant all the time in all the houses that she goes to. She can do that. But can we? No. Right? Morning till evening calls are there. You can't even think of Krishna. So we might think that, they are in a so-called lower position, but they are actually higher than us. Yeah. All right, should we call it a day here then? Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you so much for watching us on Facebook and Zoom and YouTube. We call it a day here.
Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. What's next? Question.
Parul and Avi will sing the Narsimha Aarti.
Nice.
And then Satvika will do the Prashadam prayer.
Nice, nice, nice. Very nice.
I'll help you. I'll help you.
Thank you, Varshana, for joining on Zoom.
It's fine.
Very cool. I'm going to switch it off now.